Today, so Mr. Fukui would like to present it about situation of elderly and dementia care in Japan.
いきます。Okay, so good evening, everybody. Thank you for your time, and then give me a chance to speak here. Okay, let me introduce myself. Mr. Chin already introduced me, but I want to repeat. I am a certified caregiver and also social worker and psychiatric social worker in Japan. And as Mr. Chino mentioned, I'm a former professional boxer. Okay, boxer. So still, I go to the gym 4 times a week to strengthen my muscle. Okay, uh, look at this picture. Okay, this picture when I worked in the United States in the home for age as the working as a caregiver. I'm taking care of the Japanese American. And I spent 4 years in the USA and I went to the Philippines. I periodically visited the care facility in the Philippines as a social worker because I'm looking for the care facility which can provide OJT program to Japanese caregivers. Okay, so today I'm here to talk about situation of the elderly and dementia care in Japan. Before proceeding to my presentation, I want to share my experience in Japan. Since 2011, I'm here in the Philippines right now, okay? But, I seldom go back to Japan because I love Philippines so much and I have already the retirement visa. So, which is a permanent visa. I don't need to go back to Japan. But of course, I have a parents in Japan, so I seldom went back to Japan. But I didn't remember last time I went back to Japan. But still, I vividly remembered the uh, the how surprised I was in Japan. From Philippines to Japan, it takes about 4 hours, very near. Okay, the the picture this picture is similar my hometown. Okay, my hometown is in the Kanagawa prefecture, which is located next to Tokyo. I live in the suburb of Kanagawa. Okay, when I walk around in my hometown, I was really shocked because there are many old people on the street, but I couldn't find any young people. I was so shocked. Then, when I take a bus, I was surprised again because there are so many elderly. Okay, then I asked myself, is this bus only for the senior? And this bus is going to the nursing home or the daycare center? Because there are so many old people and then few young people. I was really shocked. You know why I was shocked? Because I came from Philippines. As you know, the Philippines, there are so many young people, right? And average age in the Philippines about 24 years old. Then when I went to the shopping mall or restaurant, I saw the many, the children and also the young parents with children. But in Japan, there are so many old people, right, on the street. Of course, in the morning or the night time, I saw the young people who commute to the school or the work. But the daytime, on the weekday, it's so hard to find the young people, only elderly. Then I realized Japan is aging country. right now. Okay, look at this chart. Okay, this chart. Hold on a second, please. So total population in Japan about 1.2 million. Okay, and 28.4% of the people are elderly. Elderly is defined as people with 65 years old above. So it means that about 1/4 of people are elderly in Japan. Can you imagine? Then look at this, the graph, okay, which indicates the population decline and population aging rate in Japan, like this. Now the 2020, but the 2025, the population aging rate is 30%. Then gradually increasing. See, as time goes by. So 1/3 of the people are elderly in 2035. When you compare with other country, maybe you can take it more seriously. Okay, let me compare with Indonesia. Look at this, Indonesia. The aging rate is very low, right? The 2020, it's like this, 5.9 and 8.4. 2015, it's the 14 percentage. Okay, then the aging rate becoming, the increasing slowly. But when you compare with Philippines is smaller and slower than Indonesia, right? According to the WHO, the World Health Organization, when country reach the 7% of aging rate, we call the country aging society. Okay, 7% of the aging rate, aging society. And then if country reached 14% of aging rate, we call it aged society. Aged society. And 21% above, how do you call? Super aged society. Okay? Look at Japan, 2020, see? 28.4%. So how do I describe Japan? Maybe I can say super extremely fantastic aged country, no, society, right? Because 2030, look at this, 30%. Now you can see how, the serious problem Japan is facing. Okay, then how many elderly people suffer from dementia in Japan? As you know, Japan, there are so many older people, but not everybody suffering from the dementia. So we should know that how much percent of the elderly are suffering from dementia. Okay, on the street, if you see one old people, two old person, three old person, four old person, five, it's dementia. Okay, like this. About 7 million of the elderly are predicted to have dementia by 2025, which is 1/5 of elderly people have dementia. Then next question, who is taking care of the elderly needing assistance? Of course, not only the old people with dementia, but also the old people needing assistance. Look at this chart. Okay. Green part, look at this. Green part of the chart indicate that co-residential caregivers are below 60 years old. Below 60 years old. Okay? Then, pink one, pink one is over 60 years old. So, now, 2/3 of co-residential caregivers are aged 60 or older. Have you seen this, the Chinese character? This is a serious problem right now in Japan. I read it, low kaigo. Low means old times 2. Then kaigo, yeah, everybody knows the caregiving, right? It means elderly people take care of one another. Look at this picture. Elderly or old person take care of old person. Look at this. Older wife take care of older husband. This is the situation in Japan. We call it low kaigo. Low kaigo. Okay? Then, how did Japan tackle this kind of the serious aging problem? Okay? So the Japanese government established the long-term care insurance system in 2000. Okay? Before and after. Okay, before long-term care insurance, each family has responsibility to take care of old parents. Okay, then we couldn't ask help from outside because this is a family caregiver's responsibility. However, family structure have changed dramatically. The nuclear family, which is composed of 2 parents and children, is increasing, and many people are unmarried. So each family couldn't afford to take care of old parents. Then after long-term care insurance, instead of family alone, society will help the elderly and family caregivers. Long-term care insurance system is designed for society to support the elderly. Okay, then what kind of services you can receive? There are 2 categories at the beginning. Okay, home care service. Home care service is composed of home visiting care service and daycare service. Another category is facility care service. It's like a nursing home, okay, or other private nursing home. Then 2015, we start new service category, which called community-oriented service. Okay, I want to ask you, if you get older, where you want to live? Of course, most people want to live in familiar place continuously, right? Because there is a family and your friend. But if family cannot afford to take care of you or old parents, you have to go to the nursing home in other prefecture, right? But we or Japan want old people to continuously live in their familiar place. Then we start community-oriented service. Community provides necessary service such as regular visit, on-call visiting care service. visiting care service at night, and home visit nursing, home visiting bathing service as well, and home visit rehabilitation, healthcare guidance. So even though you need caregiving, you can stay in the house. Then community is the one who provides necessary service. But based on the family caregiving, the society supplement other necessary services. So you can see the long-term care insurance seems to be very successful, and Japan could overcome aging problem, right? But you know, look at this chart again. Population decrease. On the other hand, aging rate increase. As a result, society cannot support the elderly as much as possible. Look at this chart again. No, this is a new chart. So the green part of the graph is population from 0 to 14, okay, children. Then orange one is the population from 15 to 64. We call it the working population, okay? And the blue one is the 65 to 74, which is early stage elderly people. Then pink one is 75 above. It's called later stage elderly people. Look at this. Working population decrease, but elderly is the number of elderly increase. The 1980 in Japan, about 7 people in working population support 1 elderly. Then 2005, 3 people, young people, support 1 elderly. Then I don't know when, but in the near future, 1 young or the plus 1 Japanese support 1 elderly. So as I told you, the society cannot afford to support the elderly as much as before. Okay. Then Japan made a new plan for long-term care insurance to continue. Oh, by the way, so 65 above in Japanese, okay, any Japanese 65 above is eligible for the long-term care insurance. Then they pay only 10% of the total amount of cost. Okay, 10% to 20% if you have a good income, 30%, but only 30% of the total amount of cost they pay. Others, the society, or the government or local government pay. But the Japan cannot afford anymore as much as before. Then, but we want to continue the long-term care insurance. What is the new plan? New plan is to focus on preventive care, like this. Then we support the elderly to continue to live as independently as possible. One reason is to spend the social security cost wisely, because there are the limited, the budget is limited. So, and also, of course, people want to be independent, right? Nobody want to be cared, especially in the toilet or the bathroom. Do you need someone to watch you inside the shower? No, nobody want to be cared. So that's why the further improve the quality of life, we try to be independent. But if you need help, of course we support. But try to be independent. That is the new policy. Look at this picture. The old lady, the strengthen the lower limbs, legs, and also this in the daycare center or the nursing home. So they are doing the rehabilitation, working, because you get older, from the lower limbs. You should strengthen your lower limbs first. Okay. Then look at this. Look like the doing the box exercise. That is also the rehabilitation. Okay? Rehabilitation is very important to keep the muscle stronger. Then, okay, then another problem is the lack of the caregiver, right? Because population decrease. How do you find a caregiver who take care of Japanese old people? Okay. Then there are 3 strategies to tackle shortage of caregiver. 1, 2, 3. Number 1 is this: to improve working environment and image of caregiver. In order to attract people to work in caregiving field, Japan tried to improve working environment, like giving additional allowance to caregivers from the government, okay? And then reducing unnecessary paperwork, because there are so many paperwork, because we have to report to the local government or the city hall to get uh, the insurance benefit, right? So that's why there are so many paperwork. We try to make it effectively, and also improve the image of caregiver, because Japan tend to consider caregiver as a hardworking and stressful and severe. It's called the severe physical problem, or especially the lower back pain. But instead of this negative image, we try to appeal positive aspect of the caregiver, right? Caregiving is the rewarding job, right? Rewarding job. And we can make the elderly happy. We can also develop a good relationship with elderly. So we try to, appeal the positive image of caregivers to attract the people, especially the housewife who finish the raising children, and also the senior citizen, because people become 65 years old, but they can still work, right? They can still work, but of course they don't want to work full time. They can spend the 1 hour or 2 hour on the nursing home. Like my mother-in-law, she is working. She is about, I think, 70 years old, and now that she is working in the nursing home as a part timer. She's 3 times a week. She went to the nursing home in the dinner time from 5 to 7. She helped feeding care, because at the night dinner time it's very busy, very busy. Many user need assistance of feeding, and also we as a caregiver prepare for the night care. So that's why my mother-in-law worked in the nursing home as a part-time. So she enjoyed working there. So this kind of the help, it we try to get. Then second strategy is this: you know, introduce technology to nursing field. Everybody know the Doraemon, right? Doraemon. It's a representative of the technology. Look at this. His name is Parulo. Parulo. So Parulo want to help more. And the Parulo already introduced in the some nursing home. Okay. He is in charge of the rehabilitation. That is also big help. And also this, Tapir. This is a monitoring device. Tapir has facial expression. He can show anger, sorrow, joy, and he can communicate with user. And also it can be controlled remotely because this is the monitoring device. If the old parent living alone, the children can commute through this device. Okay, this device. And this one, Honda. You know, Honda is well known as motorcycle or car, but Honda also invent assistive device in nursing field. Like this. If you put on this device, you can walk smoothly. It can help you to walk smoothly. And you know the look at this. This is it's like a Australian, right? So this kind of the assistive device Honda invent. And the last one is this. Do you know what it works? This device is sensoring device. We put on the this device on the stomach, and it can help you uh, help you to know when you should bring the user to the CR. Okay, then you can prevent uh, incontinence of urine or defecate, and also the user uh, doesn't pee inside the pants. It's comfortable, right? So this kind of the technology we already introduced. Then number three, third strategy is this, to open the opportunity for foreign care worker. This is a caregiving class in Manila. Okay. So I teach them what is a Japanese style of caregiving all about. So there are so many, you know, the Filipino are ready to go to Japan as a caregiver. And then I started the YouTube channel, and I provide the free caregiving lesson. So if you want to study, you can check my YouTube channel, which is a Kaigo channel. Okay, this is a summary. So now you know that Japan is a country with the greatest number of aging people in the world. Okay, because Japan is a super aged society, right? So that's why the Japan should show the good example how to solve aging problem to other countries, because other countries, especially the developed country, will be facing same problem. So Japan have to show the good example. Okay. So I hope Japan and countries in South of Asia, like Philippines and Indonesia or the other countries, cooperate together to create sustainable and happy aging society. Okay? Thank you very much for listening. もう30分ですね。はい。おかげさまで私も良いリハーサルというかができました。やっぱり結構ですね、30分は長いですよ。これはね、喋り続けるっていうのは、まあいい勉強ですし、いや、ぜひね、私が先陣を切りますので、次からは、 いろんな人がね、せっかくこういう舞台ができそうなので、ぜひ、英語でスピーチをしてもらいたいです。And also, I mentioned that because I have a connection with the International Federation for the Dementia Care, then there are so many people who are interested in the dementia care. So, so you guys are students, if you work in the nursing home in Japan, then become expert. You can be like me, the guest speaker, because you know the Filipino situation and also the Japanese situation. And after maybe 3 years, of course you become a professional, right? Then you can expand your possibility, not only the caregiver, but also like a teacher or guest speaker or yeah, I don't know. So that's why your future so bright, so bright. Then again, due to this situation in Japan, you can learn the latest technology or latest knowledge regarding caregiver, especially the dementia care.